Live, late-breaking, investigative. This is KCTV 5 News at 4.
Coffee in the summer? Well, many of us love our daily hot cup of coffee, of course, in the morning, no matter the season. But now you can go to a hot Royals game and you find fans all over drinking coffee, just served a little differently. Scott Presnell is the director of marketing for Parisi Coffee. He's here to make the perfect cup of iced coffee so we can do this right at home.
Absolutely.
Welcome. Thank you for coming in. I always pass the Parisi Coffee building off to the side as I travel on I-35. Is that a local company only?
Yes, Parisi's been in Kansas City roasting coffee since about 2005.
Yeah,
we distribute it all over the city. Yeah.
Yeah, and how much do you do? How much do you roast?
Oh, we roast on a daily basis. We're roasting every single day, Monday through Friday, generally 8 hours a day. So over the course of the year, that adds up to quite a few thousand pounds.
Okay, let's talk about coffee and making this at home, and how iced coffee, I thought, was just hot coffee poured over a big glass of ice.
Well, there are ways to do iced coffee where you brew coffee hot and pour it over ice, but today, kind of as a summertime treat, we wanted to show the way to brew iced coffee cold, just like you would do a cold iced tea.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so generally the way to do this, you can do this with many types of equipment. All over the internet you can find different styles to ways to make iced coffee, but we're making it in a simple way that you might already have at home in a French press.
French press, got it.
So generally just requires grinding coffee, combining the coffee with cold water, and then you let it sit. So I brought a grinder. We can grind a little coffee. We can put it in the press and get started.
Go for it.
Okay, so we'll turn this on. It'll be a little noisy.
That's okay. And how much ground coffee do we need in a size like this?
In a French press, generally you're doing about 1.5 grams of coffee per ounce, which is a lot of math. So you think about it, with a 34 ounce, you put about 8 tablespoons of coffee into that. Yes, in the cold process, the coffee is actually soaking into the water. So it's kind of like tea. It absorbs it in there. It requires a little more than it does with hot water.
Okay.
So once you grind the coffee, you simply take it out of the grinder. If you have it at home, if you don't have a grinder at home, you can actually use the grinders that are in the grocery store.
Sure.
Just recommend you clean them out pretty well before you do that, because you're not sure what's actually in there from before. Yeah. So that's probably not quite as much coffee as we'd normally use. But then once you put the coffee in there, simply take cold water off the tap or filtered water, fill it up in your French press just like you would do in a hot process. And then really, you would give it a stir, put the lid on, and let that coffee sit for about 12 hours. So simply
12 hours?
12 hours.
Okay, so you got to plan ahead for this one.
Right. So the night before, you put it in, you let it sit, it's ready for you in the first thing in the morning.
So this, let's say, has been sitting 12 hours.
Exactly.
You push it down.
Simply plunge it down, and it's ready to go.
And what, pour it over ice?
Pour it straight over ice.
And then how do you like to serve it?
Generally, if you like iced coffee, the traditional iced coffee is simply just ice poured over coffee, just like that.
Okay.
But for those that like cream and sugar and things like that,
I like mine. Yeah, coffee is a dessert.
Generally, you can add just a little bit of half and half or a little bit of cream to this.
Okay.
If I can get it to pour out.
And you can keep this in the fridge like you do iced tea, right?
Yeah, actually, if you take the French press and you would pour that out and transfer it to a thermal container that can be closed up, you can put it in the refrigerator and usually it'll stay for about a week. The great thing about this is that when you make cold brew coffee, it really takes about 60% of the acid out of coffee.
Ooh, it's not as acidic, yeah.
Right, so if people have problems with acid in their stomach, they can drink iced coffee and it's a lot smoother.
Delicious.
Thank you.
Thank you for introducing us to this, and we need it on a day like this. It feels like 100 degrees out. You know, Parisi Coffee now found most local grocery stores. I'm loving that. And for this complete recipe, you can just log on to KCTV5.com. We've got the full recipe there for you.